Welcome back, friends. Today, we're diving into a truly special and historically rich U.S. coin, the 2009 D. Lincoln cent, featuring an image of Abraham Lincoln sitting on a rock reading a book. Now, this coin might look a bit different from the classic Lincoln pennies we're used to, and there's a good reason for that. This is one of 4 unique designs released in 2009 to celebrate the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it tells a powerful story about the humble beginnings of one of America's greatest presidents. So let us take a closer look at what this coin means, why it was made, what it's worth, and the historical context that surrounds it. Trust me, you're going to see this penny in a whole new light. Let us begin with the design. The coin we're talking about today is officially known as the 2009 D. Lincoln Bicentennial Cent, formative years reverse. It was minted in Denver, which is indicated by the small d mint mark on the obverse, just below the year 2009. On the obverse, we have the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait has been on the front of the penny since 1909, when the Lincoln cent was first introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth. The obverse was originally designed by Victor David Brenner, and it still remains one of the most recognizable U.S. coin designs over a century later. But it's the reverse that steals the spotlight here. The reverse shows a young Abraham Lincoln sitting on a rock, reading a book while holding a tool in his hand. He is dressed in frontier-style clothing, and the scene captures him during his formative years in Indiana, where he lived from 1816 to 1830. This design was created by Charles Vickers, and it represents Lincoln's deep desire to educate himself despite growing up in a poor, rural setting. With an axe by his side and a book in his lap, the image beautifully symbolizes the balance between hard work and lifelong learning, 2 values that Lincoln carried with him into his presidency. The scene also highlights a pivotal time in American history, the early 1800s, when the country was still expanding westward, and people were carving out lives for themselves in the wilderness. The coin's artwork brings this time period to life, and reminds us of how Lincoln's strength and intellect were forged in those early years. Now, let us talk about why this coin was made. The 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Center program was authorized by Congress as part of the Presidential One Coin Act of 2005. It called for 4 different reverse designs to be issued throughout 2009 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, as well as the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln cent itself. The 4 designs each depict a different phase of Lincoln's life: 1 birth and early childhood in Kentucky 1809 to 1816. 2 formative years in Indiana 1816 to 1830, this is the one we're focusing on. 3 professional life in Illinois 1830 to 1861. 4 presidency in Washington, D.C. 1861 to 1865. These coins weren't just meant for collectors, they were released into general circulation to educate the public about Lincoln's life and legacy. And what a great way to teach history, right? Every coin tells a story, and these 2009 cents do that in the most literal way. Now let us dig into the value and collectibility of the 2009 D. Lincoln Formative Years cent. The Denver Mint struck 363,600,000 of these coins. That's a massive number, so this coin is not rare in terms of mintage. Most people received them in change, and many were spent, saved, or collected by people who recognized their historical significance. In circulated condition, a 2009 D. Lincoln sitting on a rock cent is still worth 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, things change. If you've got a coin that hasn't been used in circulation, one with no scratches, dings, or where it's considered to be in mint state MS condition. In MS 65 or higher, these coins can be worth 1 to 5 depending on the quality and market demand. Coins with especially strong detail and shine often found in mint sets or rolls can fetch even more. If your coin is graded MS67 or higher, especially with that brilliant red luster that copper coins are known for, the value can jump to 10, 20, or even higher at auction, especially if it's graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC. Now here's a fun fact: there are some varieties and errors out there, too. Some 2009 deformative years cents have what's called a double die reverse DDR error. These are coins where the design, especially Lincoln's hands, fingers, or the book, appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. These DDR varieties are rare, and collectors will pay 25 to over 100 depending on the strength of the doubling and the coin's condition. So if you have one of these coins, look closely. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe can help you spot those subtle details that could make your penny worth far more than face value. Now let's talk about the year 2009, the era this coin came from. 2009 was a year of change and challenge in the United States. The country was just emerging from the 2008 financial crisis, and Americans were dealing with the aftershocks of job losses, foreclosures, and economic uncertainty. At the same time, it was a year of historic milestones. In January of 2009, Barack Obama was inaugurated as the 44th President of the United States, becoming the first African American to hold the nation's highest office. That same year, this coin depicting Lincoln reading by the light of self-determination was released to the public. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Lincoln's legacy as a unifier and protector of liberty was being honored during a moment of national reflection and new beginnings, and what better way to remember that than with a simple penny that tells a story of personal growth, hard work, and the pursuit of knowledge. Now let's take a moment to appreciate just how special this series of coins really is. The US Mint doesn't often change the design of the penny. In fact, before 2009, the Lincoln cent had only seen a few major reverse design changes: the wheat ears from 1909 to 1958, the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 to 2008, and then this special 4-coin series in 2009. After that, the Union Shield reverse was introduced in 2010 and has remained ever since. That makes the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial cents truly unique, both as a collectible set and as a slice of American storytelling. Each design reminds us that Abraham Lincoln wasn't born into wealth or power. He built his life step by step, with reading, writing, hard labor, and perseverance. He believed in education, in fairness, and in rising to meet the challenges life throws at you. And that's what this coin shows: a young boy sitting on a rock, learning in the quiet woods, preparing himself for a future he couldn't yet imagine. Before we wrap up, here are a few tips. If you're collecting this coin, try to find one in brilliant uncirculated condition, ideally from a mint set or bank-wrapped roll. Look for error varieties, like doubled dies, especially around Lincoln's fingers or the book. If you're building a set, collect all 4 2009 reverse designs. They make a beautiful display and an incredible educational piece. And if you really want to go the extra mile, collect both the Philadelphia No Mint Mark and Denver D Mint Mark versions of each one. So there you have it, the story behind the 2009 D Lincoln Formative Years cent, a coin that honors not just the man Lincoln would become, but the boy he once was. It's a symbol of growth, learning, and the power of quiet determination. And in the world of coins, that's about as inspiring as it gets. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please leave a like, drop a comment about your favorite Lincoln cent, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories from America's rich numismatic history.